Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Graham, this is the Jedi Knights Watch, and today you're here to see the Ahsoka from Mandalorian Season 2 unboxing and review. This is the DX20. There's going to be a DX20 and a DX21. This one does not have the Grogu figure, and it does have a different base compared to the DX21. If you're new to the channel, I want to invite you to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. Post a lot of pictures of the display and of new figures coming in. So be a part of the channel, be a part of the community. Let's take a look here at the art box that this comes in. This, guys, is going to be my favorite style of art box. I love the DX art boxes. I love how they typically have that like record style slip where the box slides in on the side, and then we have the foam inserts. I wish all Hot Toys would give us these foam inserts. It's just high quality, it's premium, it looks really nice, it feels really nice. So I wish that they would just do that all together. They really should, because really, does anybody know the difference between DX figures and non-DX figures anymore? I mean, figures have rolling eyes, they have a bunch of accessories. This one we might find doesn't really have as many accessories as we would maybe think a DX would. So why not just give us premium packaging all around? But I digress. A great art box, has Ahsoka Tano on the front. It is a slip cover. I love this image of the record style box here. Again, it's the DX20. I love how it's like an orange and black. Great image of Ahsoka, and then we just slide it out, and there's like another image, and it's a different pose, and it says Star Wars. Again, it's the same style but a different image, and that's going to be like the foam cover. But it's really nice packaging. I like it a lot. Once we get the box onto the table, we'll just lift that foam insert off, and we'll get our first look at Ahsoka. I love this. It's simple and it's like elegant. It just looks really cool. I love how they do these. It's just really premium. I wish they do this a lot more. We're going to take this cover off. A surprise here, she only has 3 hands that come with the set. That is insane. This is a DX, right? Am I right there? But anyways, we take that out, and then we get the clamshell tray. The bottom, we get this base. We're going to get the robe, the lightsabers, and the lantern, all that cool stuff. But I've seen some DX figures in the past, and like typically in this foam, there's just like a lot of inserts for the hands and maybe even like extra head sculpt or something. So this is kind of funny just to kind of see how plain it looks. But my first impressions is Ahsoka looks really good. Is the head sculpt as good as I was hoping it would be? I'm not so sure, but let's get the figure out. But before we get into the figure itself, let's take a look at the base and the accessories she comes with. This base is actually the reason why I got this DX20. I already have a Grogu, so I thought I'd go with this base just because I liked it better than the other one. So it's kind of got this like walkway, the stone walkway. It's got really good texture to it, really good like washes throughout just to give it more texture. And then it's got like the water underneath as we just peel the plastic off of the metal nameplate. It says Star Wars Ahsoka Tano. The really bummer thing about this is that it doesn't peg in here. It just literally sits in the grooves. Like, why couldn't Hot Toys just make this where it would like peg in so it would be like one? Because if you bump it or move it, it's just gonna slide. It also comes with a waist grabber, which I actually prefer crotch grabbers as opposed to these waist grabbers. I just feel like these grab too much around the waist. They can ruin outfits, whereas the crotch grabber, you can do it where it doesn't really touch the fabric or the outfit as much. But this base is cool outside of, and I didn't like it at first, but it is growing on me because I thought the detail and the texture of the water didn't look as good as maybe the prototype pictures. But I think my only problem is that it just sits there against the base. But when we get this angle of it, I think it does look really cool, and it is unique. It's something we haven't really seen before. I think the stone of the walkway looks really good as well. And then we do get this like backdrop. If you get the DX21, I believe you get the forest backdrop. This is not something that I'm interested in using at all. And if you can see from the image here, it's really soft. It's not sharp. It's very low quality. You know, maybe if you're shooting it in the background and it's already blurred, I think it'll look fine. It'll kind of add to the photo, but it's not something I'm going to use. Coming to the 3 hands that we got, we have a 1-fisted hand. Couldn't even give us 2-fisted hands. Come on, guys. And then 2 lightsaber gripped hands, and they look really good. I like the, they have the gloves, the fingerless gloves here with the orange skin. Looks good. It's got some good shine. It's a hand. We've seen them all. But here are the other accessories she comes with, and it's not bad, but as a DX, you would think we'd get more. And we'll start with the lantern. Does not turn on or off. They just kind of made it look like it's lit up. But overall, I think it's got a really good paint application to it. It looks like a real gold material, and it's got a bunch of pitting going into it and a lot of detail. A nice blue button on top. The cool thing about these lightsaber blades is that they're like a white. I've never seen white before. And the gradient here, it's got a nice frost to the action shot here. I like that a lot. I think it looks really good. And when it's in the light, it really does pick up light and kind of bounce off of it. So they kind of look like they're lighting up just from light hitting it. Then we have her 2 hilts here. This is the little hook that can hook onto her belt so that she can carry them on her waist. But these look really good too. I love the shape of them. They're not round like a typical lightsaber. Kind of like got a weird shape and then a curve to them. The interesting thing is here is if you want to put the blade in, you pop the top out just like that. Look how small that piece is. That worries me because I can see a lot of people losing those tops. So be very, very careful. Remember where you're putting them. Maybe put them in a bag or something. But when you put the blades in, they do look really good. And then you can just kind of plug this back in if you do want it to, where obviously the blade is not on. And then here's the smaller one just so you can see the nice silver paint job on it. It's got a lot of detail going on too, and you just get that plug right out, and that's where you can stick the blade in there. But man, I almost wish they would have given us 2 hilts, one with the hole in there and then one, without, which they've done in the past. And then we do have this tool to use on the head sculpt to move the eyes. We'll show you that later. And then we have her cloak, which just goes on the figure, and there is going to be a wired hood. And then we do have a very tiny snap, which just snaps under, around the neck area. Other than that, it's a really nice quality. It's got some good stitching in it, and then it's really tattered at the bottom. Looks really worn and homemade, and it does kind of fray a little bit, so just be careful with that. But I like there's kind of white stitching going through it too, so it does look really, really good. Once we get the figure out of the box and onto the turntable for the first time, we get our first look at Ahsoka Tano from The Mandalorian. I think she looks really good. I think, especially from the neck down, she looks amazing. I love this outfit. The head sculpt we're going to talk about, I'm not sure. I don't see Rosario Dawson in this head sculpt. I think it almost looks more like the Clone Wars Ahsoka. Like maybe it's the eyes, the Sir's eyes, I guess they are, the single eye movement. But here's a picture of Rosario. Her eyes just look a lot different. Even the mouth, it just doesn't look exactly like Rosario Dawson. I would maybe give it a 7.5. It doesn't look bad. It looks like an Ahsoka figure. It just doesn't, I don't see the likeness to Rosario Dawson, but you can just see the midsection here. Lots of really, really good detail, almost like under the radar detail, like the ties in the back. We got the beads and the charms on the side and everything like that. The belt is fully sculpted. Minimal things, but they really do a lot for the figure. The boots look great, or like the shin plates, you got scratches on them and paint missing, and just lots of earth tones on the figure, but they work really well. And the eyes are going to be free floating, so they can kind of move, but it's just got like the samurai feet, or the shoes, if you will. And now let's just get the figure in hand so we can get kind of a more closer and in detail look. And you can just see the head sculpt here. Again, it doesn't look bad. I think the headdress looks really nice. I love the light blue, but you can also see the wrinkles in the I can't remember what they're called, but the headdress itself. And it is technically going to have a wire in there, so you can kind of bend them so that you can move the head a little bit. But as you can see, there's not a ton of movement, not a ton of articulation in there. I wish there was a little bit more, just so we could have a little bit more freedom with the head, because I do find it a little bit hard. Once you go down to the midsection, you can see this is all sculpted in here, but then she does have these charms here, or these I guess they'd be charms. On the back, the belt is tied in a really nice fashion. I love the seamless body. I love like the back and the shoulder plates, like they just look really realistic to like what a human body would look like. And you know, it's the same body as like the Wonder Woman figure, so it's a heavy figure. It's got like the metal, I guess you'd call it like a skeleton underneath, so it's gonna have some heft, it's gonna have some weight. Going down to the lower area, the pants are going to be nice and baggy. It's going to make for really good articulation. And then we talked about the feet before, but the seamless body does not go throughout the whole body. It's really just that upper torso area. The gloves, actually, that where the gloves on the arms start, that's where the body stops. So it's actually going to be good. It's going to, you know, make for less wear and tear on the actual body itself. But, you know, here we're just going into articulation, so you can kind of see what kind of movement you're going to get in the head. Again, just take a look at how the arms move. They move really freely. They're stiff because this is, like I said, it's on like a metal skeleton body, but look how natural the skin looks. It looks like a real body. Like when they move the arms forward, if I turn it around here, you're gonna just see like how like your skin would kind of like stretch like that. I really like that a lot. It's weird. The back of her with the shoulders and everything is like one of my favorite parts. And then there's a ratchet in the elbow, and I do believe that's as far as I can really get it. This is tight right here, so there is some restriction. But again, there's not going to be a body under there, so that is just, you know, what the only thing you got to worry about, as long as like that wrap doesn't come undone, which I don't think it will. But then there is swivel in the elbow area as well. There's none in the shoulder. But here, I was trying to get some abdomen crunch, and I like snapped the figure completely. It like disconnected. So luckily I was able to peg it back in. So let's get back to the articulation. So just be careful if you're really pushing the limits on the midsection. There really isn't going to be a whole lot of articulation there. Split cut boot design, so we're going to have a rock, and then we're going to also have a swivel, nice bend in the knee, and then there's really no swivel in the thigh either, which is interesting. I just had another figure like that too. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but you know, you're going to have a lot of movement in the legs outside of like no swivel in the thigh. Not much swivel in the abdomen. Didn't really want to push it either after disconnecting the body from the legs. So really quick too, I just want to show you how we can move the eyes, and I really am not a fan of this either. The headdress kind of like, it just slides into the head sculpt, but sometimes I notice right here, you can see there's a gap there. Like, so make sure that it's really tight, because it will just, from even moving the head there, it'll kind of like sag, and then you'll have just a little bit of a gap, but the faceplate just pops off. And then we have the single eye rolling system in the back. And this is kind of a pain, like, because you're trying to fit this thing in, and then you're trying to look at which direction the eyes are going, and they're not going where you want. And once you move them, it's really hard to get the eyes to look natural. I wish that they would have kept the PERS system, the parallel eye rolling system, and just fixed the problem of them breaking all the time, because that was the easiest thing. You had one joystick and it moved both eyes, and then we didn't have to worry about this problem. But you can see here, so once we do get the eyes set, you can just kind of slide it back in and then pop the head on. All right, let's get some comparisons out here. Let's compare our Ahsoka with Bo-Katan. Pretty much the same height. Obviously, with the headdress, Ahsoka is going to be a little bit taller, but she looks good. And then we have her with the Transport Trooper Mandalorian, and he's going to be tall, and they look great together as well. And then let's get the Mando out here himself, the Chrome Mando, which we just reviewed. If you didn't see that, go take a look at that. I left them both on their bases just because with all of his stuff on, I didn't really want to mess with it right now, but they look great together. I can't wait to see him in action even further. So let's get this figure ready to be in the display and ready to be posed. We're going to put the hilts on so they just loop right onto the belt there. Let's get the head just where we want now that we have the eyes posed where we need them. And here she is. This is something I'm doing different, just giving you guys a look at what she looks like in the display with my other figures. I think this is pretty cool. I always love seeing figures in other people's collections, so I think the base looks really good once it's in the display. I wasn't a fan at first, but I'm really liking how this figure looks. She has a lot of shelf presence. The shoulders themselves just make this figure look so realistic, like a 1/6 scale person in the collection. But now let's get her into some poses and talk about some of the things that I like. about the figure and some things not so much. Starting with the things that I really like about the figure. The first would be the outfit, the color, the tailoring, the pattern. It's almost like a faint checkered pattern. The cloak is really nice. I love the tattering and the pattern and the stitching on that as well. It's just a really solid looking figure, especially with the belt and the charms and how the belt is just tied behind the figure. The second thing that I really like, and it's kind of weird, but it's the seamless body. It's the shoulders. It's weird because they look like Rosario Dawson's shoulders from the show, just like how she was shaped, and then you can just see like shoulder blades and, you know, just it looks like real skin. To me, that really makes the figure look super realistic and super authentic. The next thing that I really like is going to be the headdress and just how realistic it looks. You know, and I think the colors look good. The shape looks authentic to what we saw on screen. But then I really love the extra detail that Hot Toys put in it, where they put like the almost like the creases or the wrinkles from the actual costume into that. Really awesome job there by Hot Toys. And finally, I really like the new white blades. Some people might be upset that we don't have actual lit up, you know, hilts, but I think the way that the light bounces off of these lightsaber blades, that they look really good. They're not as desaturated as some of the other ones that we've gotten in the past, so I like that a lot. Now for some things that I didn't like as much. One of them was going to be this base, but I'm changing it to that I do like the base a lot. The only annoyance that I have with it is that the water does not lock into the base itself. It just rests against it. So if it gets bumped or moved, you know, it's going to detach. It's just annoying. The second thing is I don't think the head sculpt is all the way there to Rosario Dawson. I think this is a good Ahsoka figure. It looks really good, but I don't necessarily see Rosario Dawson in this head sculpt. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. The third thing that I don't like about the figure, and this isn't just this figure, this is all figures that have the single eye rolling system. I wish that Hot Toys would go back to the purrs, but just fix the mechanism that they used to make the eyes rotate. The final thing that I don't like about the figure is the fact that we only got 3 hands with it. We couldn't even get 2-fisted hands. And what makes this a DX? I'm curious, because we just reviewed the Chrome Mando, and he came with a boatload of stuff, and he was not a DX, even an extra head sculpt. So I'm curious as to what makes a DX figure these days. Sure, the DX21 comes with a Grogu and a different base, but there's still just not enough here to call it a DX. But I'm not going to complain because I love the packaging. I love this figure overall. I do think she's worth getting. If you're an Ahsoka fan, this is a must-buy. If you're a Mandalorian fan, this is definitely a must-buy. Let me know what you guys think about this figure down below. Is it a home run? Are you passing? Are you going to get the DX21? Or do you like this base better? I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.